Thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of our conversation with the senior senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren. Senator, thank you for sitting there for the last week.
Good to be here.
We brought you your meals. You made a few phone calls. It wasn't so bad, was it?
Not so bad.
Excellent. Thank you. So one more sort of issue that we ran out of time on last week I did want to bring up, and then I want to delve into some politics with you. You're the ranking member of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, and that committee just recently voted unanimously, unheard of in Washington, to advance the Road to Housing Act, $1 billion in grants to communities that in some cases are changing land use regulations to make it easier to build. Can you give me an example of a regulation, preferably one in place here in Massachusetts, that has been impeding new housing construction that might be subject to change now if this becomes law?
So let's pick, obviously, a federal law, since that's what we're talking about here. But it's called NEPA. It's the Environmental Protection Agency part about what happens when you're trying to build new housing, and particularly infill housing. And one of the things that happens...
Better explain what that is.
Okay, so you have to meet a lot of environmental checkoffs. And it was long and it was complicated. And long and complicated just means housing is more expensive. Because from the time you've bought the land or identified you're going to build on that land, you got to finance, right, until you can get the property to a homeowner, a fully built home, condo, apartment, whatever it is. And so this was one of the places where it slowed up. And Andy Kim of New Jersey is one of the people who sat down with the environmental groups and with the people in government and former people in government and said, what could we do to make sure we're still protecting the environment, very important, but make this thing move faster and smoother and easier? Can we cut out redundancy? Are there places we could make it, make the roadway work better? And by golly, they came together, and that's one of the changes in this bill. And you've identified how to think of the bill overall. So here we are for generations. We've watched the price of housing go up, and the only role the federal government has taken is the housing finance for homeowners, and years ago, building public housing, which it basically won't do anymore. This is the first bill that says we actually, at the federal level, have a role to play in getting more housing supply, because the cost of housing keeps going up, because the supply is not going up as fast as the population is going up. So this bill has about 28 parts to it, all of which row in the same direction, and that is to make it less expensive to build and to encourage more cities to build. And I just want to say 25 of the 29 are bipartisan. And we got 100% of the Democrats and Republicans on committee, 24 of us, all voting in favor of this. Not
to be Debbie Downer here, but $1 billion is a drop in the bucket of this problem.
Absolutely. But it's the first time, it's a toe in the door. It is the first time to say, and just that $1 billion, what it goes to, it's called an innovation fund. It says we've laid out all these tools where you could lower the cost back in your town. We're not going to force you. But if you do, we're going to put money on the table to help you along with those sewer connections, to help you along with a new elementary school. It's a pilot program, get started, and my hope is if it proves its merit, there'll be a lot more money in the future.
I don't want to rush the season, but the fall is coming, and with it, an anniversary, the anniversary of the 2024 presidential election. Plenty of time to reflect. Why did Donald Trump win?
So look, I'm sure many people have many different views, but I'm going to go with Donald Trump's own view. And that is, he promised to lower costs on day one. That was his statement over and over and over. Every rally, lots of ads. And when he was interviewed shortly after the election, he said, reason I won was because I promised to lower costs on day one. We are now a little over 6 months later. The cost of housing is up. The cost of health care is up. The cost of groceries is up. The cost of utilities is up. In other words, Donald Trump not only hasn't delivered on the promise to lower costs, what we're seeing is that costs are up, up, up. Now look, Democrats are the ones who both traditionally and at this moment are fighting for affordability. We don't think 17 million Americans ought to lose their health care. We do think there ought to be more push to get more housing for people. And we are the ones who should be there, who will be there to make that affordability argument. It's what Michelle Wu is doing right now in Boston. I'm all in.
Senator, you said before the break that lowering costs is the key to political success for the Democrats. You mentioned Michelle Wu lowering costs. How is Michelle Wu lowering costs in Boston?
The first two that come to mind for me are what she's doing for our kids. She has created record number of kids who are now in pre-K. That's something Mama and Daddy don't have to pay for. Instead, it's there, it's public, and it's good.
Well, who's paying for that?
Well, you do it through taxes. We all do it. But do keep in mind, John, we run into this all the time when we talk about childcare and opportunities for our kids. Every time you create these opportunities, sure, you pay for them through taxes, but you have more mamas and more daddies who can go to work. You have more people who say, you know, I'm not sitting home. I can actually get out there and have a job and pay my fair share of the taxes. Agreed,
but taxes are part of the cost of living, and around here, they're a real, for many people, onerous part.
Yeah, and I believe that billionaires ought to be paying a fair share of their taxes. This is part of why I'm in this fight in Washington. Look what Donald Trump just did. He's going to take away health care from hundreds of thousands of people right here in Massachusetts so that he can give tax giveaways adding up to trillions of dollars for a handful of billionaires, billionaire corporations, and millionaires. That puts stress on every single family. Now, it puts stress on our state. It puts stress on our cities. We're doing the best we can to deal with it. But this is a problem that in no small part starts at the federal level.
You recently very publicly endorsed Zoran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee in the New York City mayoral race, and talked about him as sort of the future of the Democratic Party with his emphasis on affordability. But, you know, he's going beyond talking about more child care. He's talking about, you know, government-run grocery stores. How does that bring down costs?
Oh, please. You know, keep in mind, there are in New York City entire food deserts, places where about the only place you can buy food are the equivalent of little corner grocery stores. They're not even grocery stores. And you can get snacks and cigarettes. And that being able to have full-fledged grocery stores, you know, fruits and vegetables, lower prices, are just not available. And he said what he'd like to try is government-supported grocery stores. And keep in mind, he isn't the first guy to do this. It's been tried in other cities out in the Midwest and the Far West, same kind of conditions, where there are food deserts.
What happened?
We do it. They've actually worked. And keep in mind, this is what we do also with the military. This is what PXs are about, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is to say, I'm going to get out there and do what I can to actually lower costs for families. I think people are tired of hearing there's nothing we can do, or the billionaires wouldn't like it and don't want to have to pay more in taxes. I think part of the answer is, no, you get out there and you try these things. Universal child care, we get more people in the workforce. That actually builds the tax base. We try, if it's appropriate for your area, you try a handful of these grocery stores, see if you can make it work. Look what Michelle Wu has done with just inviting people into the museums. It's not a, it's a way of saying you want to make a city workable for working families. You want a city that focuses on education and housing and opportunities for families, and I think that's the right thing to do.
How'd the Democratic Party wind up as the anti-business party?
I don't think that's anti-business. You know, I get it. Billionaires run hundreds of millions of dollars in ads all across the country claiming this. But at the end of the day, not having workers who can afford to live in cities hollows out those cities. And when it hollows out those cities, it hollows them out for billionaires as well. I think it is pro-business to have a well-educated workforce. I think it's pro-business to have transportation. I think it's pro-business to have housing that everyone can afford. That's what keeps people in this economy and keeps this economy vibrant.
So who would you like to see the party nominate in 3 years?
Oh my gosh, that is so far off, John. Come on.
No, it's right around the corner.
Not yet. Look, we've got big races that will be coming up, of course, immediately for us here in Massachusetts in September and then in November. And then we're going to have the 2026 midterms all around the country.
Yeah.
And right now, the Republicans are trying to further rig the voting system because they are afraid of their own voters. They are afraid, for example, that if the people of Texas just get a chance to vote straight up, that Republicans are going to lose their grip on power, both at the state house and at the federal level. I think that tells you something. Republicans are afraid to get out there and do town halls. That tells you something. I think that Democrats, we just got to be true to our roots. And our roots are working people, and it's making sure that life is affordable and that they have real opportunities going forward.
Senator, thanks for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me. Always good to be here.